If you didn't make it out to SHOT Show this year 2025, you probably missed one of the most exciting shakeups in the rimfire world in quite a while. This year's biggest buzz? Some serious innovations in 22 long rifle ammunition. From ultra-quiet subsonic options to blazing hyperspeed cartridges, ammo manufacturers pulled out all the stops. Whether you're just out plinking soda cans, dialing in shots on small varmints, or chasing maximum precision from your favorite rimfire rifle, these new rounds from 2025 offer something for just about every type of shooter. In this breakdown, we're diving into the latest 22 long rifle loads to hit the shelves, what makes them tick, how they perform, and whether or not they deserve a place in your ammo stash. One of the most noteworthy entries came from Remington, who unveiled their new performance wheelgun 22 cartridge at SHOT. This isn't just a reboot of their Golden Bullet, it's a full-on revamp. Remington gave this round a serious tune-up, focusing on better reliability and broader firearm compatibility. We're talking about a newly formulated primer compound for cleaner, more consistent ignition, a beefed-up case and rim for better structural integrity, and a redesigned case head to more securely hold the primer in place. These tweaks were made to reduce common ignition failures and improve cycling across everything from lever-action rifles to semi-auto 22 AR-style platforms. Now let's talk numbers. The 40-grain load averaged around 1,250 feet per second at 50 yards during testing. Their 38-grain option was even quicker, coming in near 1,340 feet per second. That said, both versions had a standard deviation north of 20 feet per second, which suggests there's still room for tighter consistency. On the plus side, accuracy has taken a real step forward. Group sizes were nearly 1/2 inch smaller than what we saw with Golden Bullet at the same range. Does it dethrone the heavyweights like CCI, or high-end European match ammo from brands like SK and Aguila? Not quite. If you're aiming for competition-level performance, this isn't the ammo to take to the podium. But for casual shooting, pest control, or running through your less picky rimfires, the new Remington wheelgun load could be a solid budget-friendly choice. With further refinements, especially in plating and powder charge consistency, it might become a real player in the 22 long rifle arena. Now, if you've been waiting for a dedicated suppressed rimfire load, CCI came to SHOT with exactly that. Their latest subsonic entry, Suppressor Max, is designed from the ground up for ultra-quiet performance with suppressed firearms. It runs at a soft 970 feet per second subsonic territory, so it avoids the crack of the sound barrier. That's exactly what you want when staying discreet matters. This round features a 45-grain segmenting hollow point that's engineered to break into 3 pieces on impact. That terminal effect makes it a fantastic option for small game hunters or anyone looking to take out pests quickly and humanely. In real-world use, Suppressor Max delivers just what it promises: tight groups, minimal report, and surprisingly strong energy for a subsonic load. Especially in residential or semi-urban areas where noise control is important, this round helps keep you under the radar. Once paired with the suppressor, Suppressor Max offers a shooting experience that's more like a soft clap than a bang, something your neighbors are less likely to notice. And unlike a lot of subsonic rimfire rounds, it feeds reliably in most semi-automatic platforms. That's huge, considering how many subsonics struggle to cycle in semi-auto rimfires. Sure, CCI asks a little more for this kind of performance. It's not going to be your go-to for burning through bulk packs on the weekend. But for shooters who prioritize low noise and reliable performance in suppressed setups, it's absolutely worth the extra few bucks. Plus, the segmenting bullet gives more predictable wound channels on small game, making it far more effective than the typical soft-lead subsonic offerings. Of course, if you're rarely shooting with a can, you could stick with more affordable low-velocity loads and save the premium ammo for special use. But if you're chasing the quietest, cleanest rimfire shooting experience possible without sacrificing performance, Suppressor Max deserves a spot in your ammo cabinet. Federal has stepped into the 2025 rimfire scene with a welcome addition to their hammer-down lineup, this time chambered in 22 long rifle. Lever-action fans, especially those running Henrys or classic Marlins, will appreciate what Federal's bringing to the table here. Anyone who's spent time with a lever gun knows that standard rimfire rounds can sometimes create feeding issues, especially when soft lead bullets or rough casings are involved. Federal tackled this by pairing a 40-grain copper-plated hollow point with nickel-plated brass casings. That slick nickel finish really smooths out feeding in tubular magazines and adds corrosion resistance, perfect for rifles that ride in scabbards, truck racks, or damp backwoods environments. They tuned this round to clock in right around 1,200 feet per second, which offers solid velocity for hunting squirrels, rabbits, and other small game without pushing pressures too high. Though this load performs fine in bolt guns and most semi-autos, the real standout is how smoothly it cycles through lever actions, a platform that can be picky when it comes to ammo shape and texture. A nice bonus. Federal packages this ammo in 325-round boxes, ideal for extended range time or weekend hunts where you don't want to keep cracking open fresh sleeves. Now, it's not as cheap as your bargain bin 22 long rifle, but you're paying for a much smoother user experience, cleaner feeding, better ignition consistency, and long-term reliability. Lever gun shooters, in particular, will tell you that nickel-plated cases make a noticeable difference in performance, especially when dealing with friction inside a tubular magazine. If you're just ringing steel in the backyard and pinching pennies, you've got cheaper options. But if you're running a lever gun and want ammo that feeds like a dream and fires every time, Hammer Down 22 is worth a serious look. Federal's solid rep for quality control only reinforces the confidence behind this offering. Over in the budget-friendly lane, Aguila continues to serve up practical options, and their super extra hollow point is a go-to for folks trying to stretch their dollars. This one features a 38-grain copper-plated hollow point that does double duty. It keeps costs low while still being effective enough for taking care of pests or backyard varmints. That copper layer helps keep lead fouling to a minimum, meaning less grime in your barrel and less time scrubbing out carbon after a few hundred rounds. In terms of real-world performance, it depends a bit on your platform. Some semi-automatics eat it up without a hiccup, while others may encounter the occasional failure to feed or eject. That's the nature of rimfire. Some 22s are just picky. Your Ruger 22 Charger might run it like butter, but your Smith & Wesson M and P15 22 might want something smoother. Bottom line, test a few mags before you buy in bulk. As for accuracy, it falls in the good enough zone. You're not shooting sub-MOA at 50 yards, but for tin cans, steel plates, or dispatching nuisance critters around the yard, it absolutely gets the job done. Blowback-operated pistols tend to like this round too, so it's a good all-around choice if you want one load that works across your rimfire rifles and handguns. One unique note: Aguila ammo has a pretty distinct smell when it burns. Not something that affects your groups, but a quirky trait that some shooters find oddly nostalgic. If you're trying to keep your ammo budget in check, Super Extra is a solid performer. It's not going to knock out national match scores, but for casual shooting and everyday utility, it's hard to beat for the price. And then there's CCI, bringing even more innovation to their colorful Clean 22 line. Their latest variant, Clean 22 Hypervelocity, is all about speed, pushing a lightweight 31-grain polymer-coated projectile at a blistering 1,550 feet per second. That's fast for a 22-long rifle, and it pays off with flatter shooting trajectories and more punch on impact, especially at rimfire hunting distances. The bullet itself may be light, but it's been carefully engineered for smooth feeding and consistent flight. If you've got a firearm that likes high-velocity rounds, say a well-tuned Ruger 1022 or a tricked-out Victory pistol, this ammo delivers noticeable performance gains. One of the standout features is that polymer coating, which drastically cuts down on fouling. Not just in the bore, but inside your suppressor too. Some shooters report up to 60 or even 80% less lead and residue compared to traditional uncoated lead rounds. That means less time at the cleaning bench and more time squeezing triggers. If you're the kind of shooter who burns through bricks of ammo and hates deep cleaning your can after every outing, Clean 22 Hypervelocity is a high-speed, low-mess option that deserves a spot in your ammo locker. While high-velocity rimfire loads can be a bit unpredictable in certain firearms, CCI's track record for dependable function in most semi-automatics remains rock solid. That extra speed helps flatten the projectile's flight path, an advantage when you're trying to reach out to 50 or even 100 yards with tighter precision. The downside? You're definitely paying more than you would for standard budget 22 long rifle bricks. But with the added velocity, reduced fouling from the polymer jacket, and CCI's reputation for uniformity, Clean 22 Hypervelocity delivers a well-rounded package. If you're running a suppressor and want to preserve your gear while still pushing rounds with authority, this ammo strikes a smart balance. It's especially appealing for shooters using newer rimfire guns designed to handle faster bolt speeds and slightly increased chamber pressure. Now, if your main concern is keeping things quiet while still landing accurate shots, Norma's TAC-22 subsonic should be on your radar. This round hums along at about 1,070 feet per second safely below the speed of sound, so you avoid that harsh sonic crack common with supersonic loads. The 40-grain hollow point it carries makes it ideal for stealthy pest removal or laid-back range time where keeping noise down is a priority. Combine that with a suppressor, and you've got one of the softest shooting rimfire setups available. Despite the slower pace, TAC-22 subsonic still has enough punch for dispatching small critters like squirrels and rabbits. It's a favorite for backyard sessions and subsonic target work, especially among shooters looking for quality without paying top-tier prices. Norma is known for its precision, and that attention to detail shows here in both the clean brass and the consistent bullet geometry. You'll want to keep in mind that, like any subsonic ammo, these rounds drop a bit more quickly at longer distances. If you're shooting past 50 or 75 yards, expect a more pronounced arc. But for typical rimfire shooting between 25 and 50 yards, TAC-22 subsonic performs with impressive reliability and low noise. It's a great middle ground choice for folks wanting to keep things quiet without giving up on accuracy. Switching gears to something a bit more classic, Remington's standard velocity 22 long rifle remains a tried-and-true option for shooters who want balanced performance without shelling out for premium match-grade rounds. This cartridge launches a 40-grain lead round nose at about 1,150 feet per second, an ideal sweet spot for both precise paper target shooting and light varmint work. There's a nostalgic charm to this load, especially for those who remember seeing green Remington boxes stacked at every sporting goods store in town. Many shooters have put it side by side against more expensive brands and found that, depending on the gun, it either holds its own or beats out pricier options. Like with any rimfire load, your results will depend on what your firearm likes to eat, but in the right setup, you can expect tight groups at 50 yards and reasonable accuracy even out to the century mark. Not bad at all for a round that won't drain your wallet. Function-wise, it cycles reliably in both bolt guns and semi-autos, offering smooth chambering and clean extraction. Carbon buildup stays fairly tame, letting you shoot longer between cleanings. By the time that bullet makes it out to 100 yards, it's still carrying around 85 foot-pounds of energy, enough to humanely take out small game with proper shot placement. Remington ships these in handy 100-round sleeves, perfect for folks who don't need bulk case quantities but still want a solid stash on hand. Price-wise, it lands in that comfortable middle tier, not dirt cheap, but not prohibitively expensive either. It's a great all-around option for dependable rimfire performance. So there you have it, some of the freshest and most interesting 22 long rifle ammo to hit the market this year. Whether you're into ultra-quiet subsonics, blazing fast hypervelocity rounds, or affordable hollow points for everyday shooting, there's a little something for everyone in this new crop. Which one are you most eager to try? Let us know down in the comments. We always enjoy hearing what our fellow shooters are running. And as always, smash that like button, share this video with your gun-loving friends, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new updates from Wise Gunner.